Hey everybody, thanks for clicking play on the video. So a couple things to note about this property. Of course, the video at the top of this page really just talks about the subdivision, doesn't get into a lot of the specifics about this, but this is a property that merits kind of further discussion because it has so many details that are important to point out, number one, and number two, because I think the photo gallery is a little bit confusing. So I just kind of want to walk you guys through that. So first off, I do want to point out that this is the property that is within sort of the heart of all this residential development over here, one of the most developed sections of Last Chance Ranch, which of course sits just over here to the east of Elko proper. So really you're just a short drive over the river into Elko, grocery supplies very nearby, so on and so forth. Anyway, zooming in on the property, I want to point out to you that the property itself is this lot right here, sitting across from this red structure over here. And if you go to our gallery, of course, we've got the Google Earth overlay to give you a sense of the footprint of that property as well as its location here across from this home site. Now, I'm pointing out this home site, whatever you want to call it exactly. I'm pointing this out because it's at least a kind of icon that we can eyeball in the photo gallery to give a sense of where we are in relation to the property. More so, however, as we go through these, you will see that the property sits on a nice flat piece of land. And of course, right across from that developed structure. Additionally, guys, we've got the plat map here directly from the county. This is one of the nicer plat maps I've ever seen, but this, of course, represents that the property is just a scooch under 5 acres. It's got 330 feet of road frontage here along this Louisiana Ave. Anyway, with all that said, let me just jump ahead here and show you photos from the property. So, as you guys know, we've just really started expanding into Nevada, buying more properties in Nevada, which means we have hired a new photographer. And I like our new photographer out here. But as you kind of train somebody new, you run into some hiccups. They encounter some things that you didn't think you had to tell them. And the working relationship gets better over time. Point being, guys, that some of the photos, I think most of the photos of the property are actually taken from the neighboring property just a little bit up the road. Now, taken from up here. Now, one of the major things to note about this property, both properties are along Louisiana Ave. Both have power at the lot line. You can see the utility easement running up and down this road right here. And of course, with that are the underground utilities. Okay. But this property up here sits on a bit of a slope, sits on a bit of a hillside. In fact, if we kind of hit control and we kind of wiggle the mouse around, you can see that down here, subject property, nice and flat. Property that I think we got more photos of is this sort of hilly topography up here. So you're going to have to maybe use your imagination a little bit. If you're going to spend the kind of money that we're asking for this property, you might want to take a drive out there and just make sure there's no minor details that were missed. Whatever the case, a lot of these photos are taken from that property up the street. Now, a couple things to point out here. Number one, road frontage along both of these properties here is Louisiana Ave. This is a well-maintained dirt gravel road. I think if we go back to the map here and you see exactly where this thing is located, which is to say within this dense cluster of residential development, I'm going to assume that all the roads out here are pretty well maintained. You can navigate this in any vehicle type getting out to the subject property. I would assume this Last Chance Road is a county maintained road, and all these are probably in good condition because they're navigated all the time. Whatever the case, road's in good shape. That's the long and the short of it. And then as we go through these, here's something I want to point out. So the street sign down at the intersection is Louisiana 5th Ave. Google Maps identifies this as 4th Street and not Fort Worth Street. So, who knows? But the point is, guys, just don't want you to get confused about that if you do decide to take a drive out there to the property. Additionally, this one, of course, as I noted earlier, utility easement going up and down the road, and with that are the underground utilities servicing both the subject property as well as the property that was actually photographed. And, of course, as we go through this, here's that distinct red structure across the street from the subject property. This is some kind of industrial or commercial facility along with what looks to be a home site over here. Anyway, point being, you could also see the built-up residential area that surrounds the subject property if you do choose to live out here and develop this. And, of course, from the property, or at least from the hilly property, you have some nice views of neighboring Elko and the Humboldt River out here. Blah, blah, blah. This photo, I'm fairly certain, was taken from the subject property looking up at the neighboring property. So you get a sense of the hillside that develops on the neighboring lot. And as we go through these, I think you'll see that more of these photos are probably taken from that property. Now, I will just skip ahead instead of showing you photos of the wrong property. And just say that down here, we've got the drone shots at the bottom of the gallery. As you guys know, we always like to do the drone overlays to give you a sense of the footprint of the land. This is another little hiccup that we are working out with the new photographer. So we don't really have the drone overlays. We have one that we attempted to do just to kind of maybe give you a sense of it. That is this one right here. Obviously, it looks like he was focusing more on this lot right here. Anyway, you do get a sense of that. Now, I just want to go back to the map, direct your attention back here for a second, just to kind of point something out to you. We talk about this in the property-specific notes. I want to point this out to you. You will notice, guys, that there are some, we'll call them roads. We'll be charitable, and we'll call them roads. Some little dirt carve-outs here off of 4th Street or Fort Worth Street, off of Louisiana Street, leading back here over this hilly area into this other section of Last Chance Ranch, into, I don't know, it goes up here, it goes down there, who knows where it goes. Point being, guys, do want to point out that, you know, this is a legal road. This is a legal road. These are legal accesses to the property. These dirt carve-outs that have occurred here happen when you have an undeveloped property that is undeveloped for a long time and the owners are never out there, and local yokels come by on their trucks and in their dirt bikes and whatnot, and they kind of just carve out their own route to wherever they want to go, and nobody ever tells them not to, so they just keep doing it. Point being, guys, these are not legal roads going through this subject property. If you do purchase the property, you will have the right to fence off the property. You will have the right to bar access to these dirt carve-outs that have been created over time. Okay, these are not legal roads. They're on your land. You have the right to fence them off, bar access, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so did want to express all that, and, you know, what a sales pitch this video was, by the way. Whatever the case, I think this is a really nice property in a nice developed section over here, very close to Elko proper. We're going to have a lot of properties in Elko County, but none in something this developed and with these kinds of utilities easily available, and with such nice home sites built up around it. So I like this, despite the little hiccups here with the photos, guys. I think you'll like it too. Anyway, thanks for watching.